You've heard it 1,000 times, right? Get out of your comfort zone. And we all kind of nod along, maybe feel a little bit guilty when we don't do it. But what if that resistance, what if it isn't a weakness? What if your brain is just doing its job? Today, we're going to dive into the science behind why staying comfortable feels so right, and how you can actually grow without constantly fighting your own biology.
I mean, this advice is just everywhere. It's supposed to be inspiring, but let's be honest, it usually just creates this weird cycle. You hear it, you agree with it, you failed to do anything about it, and then you just feel bad. The problem isn't the advice itself, really. It's how it's framed. It's almost perfectly designed to make sure you never actually follow through.
So what's the deal? Why does staying put feel so rational? Well, that resistance you feel when you even think about making a big change, that is not a personal failing. It's your most ancient survival system working exactly as it's supposed to. So we really need to understand the biology behind that feeling before we can actually do anything about it.
And that brings us to the first big idea here, your brain's survival code. The key thing to get is that this is not a motivation problem. It's a biology problem. This has nothing to do with lacking willpower. It's all about understanding and working with your brain's deep-seated programming instead of constantly trying to fight against it.
Think about it. Before anything else, before you can think about success or learning or even happiness, your brain has one single primary job: keep you alive. And the part of your brain running this whole security operation is a tiny almond-shaped thing called the amygdala, and it is constantly scanning for threats.
Now, here is the core glitch in our ancient programming. Your amygdala, it literally cannot tell the difference between genuine physical danger and, say, social or psychological discomfort. So to your brain's security system, giving a presentation can trigger the exact same panic response as standing on the edge of a cliff. Seriously.
So here's the crucial point. Your comfort zone isn't about laziness. It's just the boundary your amygdala has drawn around everything it has decided is safe. So when you try to cross that line, you're not just feeling a little nervous. You are actively fighting your own internal bodyguard.
And there's another layer to this whole thing. Your brain absolutely loves to predict what's going to happen next. Inside your comfort zone, its predictions are usually spot on, and that certainty feels really good. But outside of it, all that uncertainty forces your brain to work way, way harder. It's literally more draining, and our brains are wired to conserve energy at all costs. So if we're basically fighting our own biology, what's the solution? Well, this brings us to our second key idea, the 3 growth zones. You see, the common advice makes it sound like your comfort zone is this single wall you just have to leap over. And that, right there, is the lie. Psychologists use a much more useful model, a better map that actually helps us navigate real change. So there are 3 zones, not 2. First, you've got the comfort zone. You know this place, it's familiar, it's predictable. Next is the growth zone. This is the sweet spot. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it's manageable. This is where all the learning happens. But if you try to make one giant leap, you don't land in the growth zone. You land in the third area, the panic zone. This is where it's just overwhelming. And the panic zone, it doesn't produce growth, it produces avoidance. Your brain just learns to never, ever do that again.
Okay, so this new map gives us a whole new goal. It's not about getting out of your comfort zone. It's about learning to spend more time in your growth zone. So let's look at a practical way forward, a real strategy for actually doing that. It really comes down to 3 core principles. First, start impossibly small. The initial goal isn't the big outcome. It's just to build evidence for your brain that crossing the line is actually survivable. Second, decide before you're scared. This is called pre-commitment. You make the decision when you're calm. So in the moment of action, you're not deciding, you're just following a plan. And third, and this is a big one, reframe what that feeling of discomfort actually means.
This gets right to the heart of that third principle. Most of us feel that anxiety and we see it as a stop sign, but the key is to reframe it, to see that exact same feeling as a signal that something important is happening. That discomfort, it's not a warning sign. It is the very texture of growth. It means you are exactly where you need to be.
And here are the stakes, right? Your comfort zone is never static. It's always moving. With consistent small steps into that growth zone, it expands. But with consistent avoidance, it shrinks. What once felt totally normal can start to feel impossible, not because you've changed, but because you stopped practicing. You stopped maintaining that boundary.
And that's really the whole thing, isn't it? Sustainable growth isn't about one dramatic moment of insane courage. It's a practice, a daily, weekly, ongoing relationship with the edge of what you can do. You don't have to leap. You just have to step consistently. So, what's one small step you can take today?